And we'll start, as we so often do, by lifting and rolling the shoulders back. Press the feet into the ground and stay upright. Breathing in, head to the left. Breathing out, head to the right. In to the left and out to the right. And one more time in your own breath pattern. And back to the centre. So looking at those shoulders, which comes into the neck as well, lift and roll your left shoulder back a couple of times. Lift it up to the ear, roll it back, set it down. And a third time, lifting and rolling and setting the shoulder back. And then coming to the right side where you lift the shoulder up, roll it back, set it. Lift and roll and set. And then again, just lift and roll. And then circling the arms up, clasp the hands and reverse. Press the feet into the ground, hands up to the sky. Breathing out, laterally, just go to the left. Just bounce slightly in and out. Breathing in, come to the centre, hands up. And breathing out, just go to the other side, bouncing in and out. Breathing in, come to the centre. Breathing out, just slightly turn to the left, and again you can bounce in and out. Come to the centre, and then breathing out to the right. Come to the centre. Lower the hands back down to the waist. Lift and roll the shoulders and place the hands on the waist. Breathing in, turn the head to the left. Come to the centre as you breathe out, turning the head to the right. Come to the centre. Just drop the chin to the chest, extending the back of the neck. And then breathing in, bring the head upright. And optionally, just slightly lift the chin and slightly lift the eyes. Disconnecting the eyes from the stress centres of the brain. Come to the centre again. And once more, dip the chin to the chest. Come to the centre. And just very gently lift the chin slightly up, eyes up. And then come to the centre. And then feet hip width apart. Soften the knees. Bottom can go backwards and you're putting your abdominal control on. And then coming back up again. And then just test, I'm the worst. Testing balance, so just lifting the heels instantly. I've gone off centre, must be very off centre, and then just releasing the heels back down to the ground, and then releasing the hands. Lift and roll shoulders, clasp the hands behind the back, aim the knuckles towards the ground, lifting the hands away from you, and breathing in, just turn slightly to the left. Come to the centre, and then turn slightly to the right. Come to the centre, release the grip, and raise the hands up, thumbs towards you, little fingers away, stretching the fingers. And then just circle hands down. And making your own sun, circle hands up. And then circling the hands down. So today's class is on the 5 energies. When we go from side to side, which we'll do, we're moving all 5 energies in the Buddha, very traditional families. So I'm going to go through some of those. So flag up if knees are creaking, neck, shoulders or anything else. And just then very gently come to the centre, lift and roll the shoulders. So the first one's very much about the neck, and we've already looked at that as we turn the head to the left, coming into the centre and then turning the head up to the right and coming to the centre. Just raise the arms out, hug, remembering which arm comes on top, come slightly forward, opening the tops of almost the shoulders, and just slightly rock from side to side. And then standing up, opening the arms out. And then of course, it doesn't matter, but if you can remember which arm was on top, the other arm, hugging, slightly coming forward, and then just very gently rocking from side to side. And then just releasing the shoulders, lifting and rolling. So this next one is odd in that it's not in mainstream yoga, but it's very much in the Tibetan tradition. So circling the wrists and breathing out through the nose or the mouth. You'll feel your abdominal control go on. Circling the wrists and circling the wrists. And last time. And then just circling the wrist back the other way and just opening and releasing the fingers. And then making a fist. I'm going to make it with my right hand and pressing the right fist into the left palm and just feel the tenseness in the arms. So I don't know if you're going to enlighten me on which muscles they are.
You've got pectorals going on when you do this.
Okay.
Which way is nature, and you've got a little bit biceps going on, isn't there? Yeah. Okay. Biceps contracting.
You're also, I guess, improving your deltoid. Your daughter's got two sets, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And then just release, and then just lift and roll the shoulders, and just do the other one. It is very much a heart aspect as well, because you're lifting in order to achieve this, you're standing up. So it's a very subtle extension, or even back bend, but it's definitely extension. And then just releasing. And then again, just lift and roll the shoulders. Right, left brain coordination, just circle the wrists in one direction. And circle the wrists in the other direction. The thing that completely gets me is if you circle one hand and flip the other hand, which I find really difficult, and then do it the other way around, flip this hand and circle the other hand. I can't do that. I've lost it. So it's just releasing, lifting, releasing. It's left, right brain coordination. And then the other side, the easy bit, circling the ankles, circling the wrists. And then the other side. And then again, if you want to flop the top hand and circle the bottom hand, I'm kind of functioning on that.
Do it this way.
And then flop the bottom hand and do the top one. So it's just difficult, just working out where we are in our brains. So just again, hands together at the heart centre, circle up, palms touch. This is quarter dog, or quarter, not dog, but quarter sort of salute coming through the centre. Quarter dogs when you stretch out. And then again, circle the hands up, touch, come back down through the centre. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then hands, feet hip width apart, And just circle in very gentle circles one way. So you're looking at one of the lower energies. It's still the Apana energy, the base energy, but it's one notch up into the lower abdominal area, and then circle the other way. And then come to the standstill. And then feet hip width apart again, hands together at the heart centre. Circle the hands up, stretch, palms together, so come through the centre, bend the knees, hands onto the shins, breathing in, half lift, lifting from the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe out, soften the knees, soften the elbows. Breathe in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. And breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet into the ground, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And then hands up, stretching up, and then lower the hands. And once more, we'll bring the hands to the heart centre. Circle the hands up, stretching up. Palms together, come through the heart centre, soften the knees, hands onto the shins, breathing in, lengthening, half lift, breathe out, soften the knees, soften the elbows, breathe in, half lift, and breathing out, stay here, soften the knees, and roll up vertebra by vertebra. Hands up, and then lower the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. And we're going to come to the top of the mat, coming into, so this is why I'm going to say to you blankets or anything that you need to take. So, salute to the sun, but with it's very gentle. So, circling the hands up, stretching, palms together, come through the centre, hands either side of your feet, and then step back with your right foot, right knee on the ground, and step back with your left foot, left knee on the ground. You're in tabletop, so just very gently sway from side to side. Come to the centre, stretch your right foot back, tuck the right toes under and stretch out your right leg. And then just bring the right knee to the ground and stretch out the left leg, stretching the left under the left toes, which goes into, is that right, to the long meridian?
Yeah.
And then very gently bring your knee back down to the ground. And some classic cat-cows, so dipping the back, either looking up or along the mat, and breathing out rounding, the chin comes to the chest. And do this a couple of times in your own time. Make the next one the last one. And then come back to tabletop again. So this is where you might need your blanket. Bring your hands to the left and step up your right foot and extend your right heel. So you'll feel a stretch along the right leg, and then hands either side of your leg. And then if you're crunching up in your back, try and have a sense of lengthening from the tailbone to the top of the head. Your chin is still into the chest, but you're just stretching out the back of the leg. And then very gently slide your right leg back. Just very gently rock your bottom from side to side. And then hands to the right, sliding the left leg up and extending the left heel, hands either side of the left leg, as a really strong stretch, you call it runner's lunge, behind the back of the leg, the left leg in this case. And then very gently slide the left leg back. So I know that, Sue, you're not keen on downward dog.
No.
If you're not, then a couple of cat-cows, but for anybody else, if you want to tuck your toes, engage the lower abdomen towards the spine, and then keeping the knees bent, come to a soft dog, and then begin to lengthen the legs. You can adjust the feet closer to your hands if you need to, and walk the dog by bending one knee and then bending the other knee, and slightly rocking from side to side. And then bend both knees back down to the ground. And we're going to do your quarter dog. So come to, let's just say, have your left hand across the front of you. Don't know if you can see, bottom towards the heels, and stretch out the right arm. Your head can rest on the back of your forearm or your hand. And this stretches out the lower back. It's called quarter dog. How much you bring your bottom back towards the heels is up to you. And then very gently come back to tabletop and swap over so that your right hand is going across you, elbow on the ground, and you stretch out your left hand, bottom towards the heels. So you've got your quarter dog on the other side, stretching out. Then come back to tabletop. So the next one is very much for shoulders and neck. If it's threading the needle, so turning your right hand up, sliding the right hand palm up behind your left, and then just coming onto your right shoulder and the right side of the head. Take a blanket if you need it for support. You can keep it very classic. You can stretch your left hand out towards the edge of the mat if that works for you. There are variations where you can place your left hand on the waist or upwards, but this takes away from the stretch on the right side, so I'm going to keep it very simple. And how much you roll onto the right side, again, is up to you. It might be a little bit or a lot. It really stretches out the shoulder and to some extent the neck area as well. But then very gently come back to tabletop. And then just very gently slide the left hand underneath, palm upwards. Come onto the left shoulder, the left side of the head. Your right hand can stay where it is, or your right arm hand can extend slightly towards the edge of the mat. And then very gently come back. Tuck your feet under. We're going to come into standing, Sue, so however that works for you. I'm going to come to a downward dog and then walk the feet to the hands and the hands to the feet. Soften the knees, hold the elbows, it doesn't matter which way you hold. Just bend your knees so that your body is resting on the top of your thighs. And again, you're letting your head just relax, releasing if there's any tenseness. And then just release the hands and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. There's that very fine-tuned aspect that if you stay in a pose for too long, it can be too much, and if you don't stay in it long enough, don't relax. It's just finding that fine tune. Lifting and rolling the shoulders. And we'll do the left side of our salute to the sun, hands behind the back, knuckles are towards the floor, and you're opening the shoulders. Then release the hands and slide the hands down the backs of the leg. And left leg back, left knee on the ground. We'll be a little bit more classic here. Right knee slides back. Just gently sway the bottom from side to side. Turn to look over the left shoulder a little bit. And then turn to look over the right shoulder a little bit. And come back to the centre. Your cat-cow dipping the back, unrounding the back, chin to chest. A couple of times. So you might like to carry on with your cat-cow, but the rest might like to tuck toes under, coming into downward dog. Your feet can be wider than hip width apart. You can walk the dog by bending one knee and then bending the other knee. And then drop both knees to the ground. Hands go to the right. Your left foot comes up. Hands either side of the left foot. And then tucking the right foot underneath. Lift the right knee. And then step the right foot towards the left. Hands on the shins. Half lift. Breathing out, soften the knees, soften the elbows. Breathing in, half lift again. Stay here as you breathe out. And breathing in, press the feet into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. To lift and roll the shoulders. And then stepping forward with the left foot. It's a variation on Warrior One, so I've got my feet a little bit forward. You might like your feet a little lot forward, it's up to you. Your back right foot, and feel free to adjust, goes out to the side about 45 degrees. Lift and roll the shoulders. Make a fist with the right hand, and then slowly follow your extended thumb of that fist with your eyes as you circle your arm forward and you're looking at your thumb. So this becomes a neck and a shoulder exercise. And it also becomes an eye exercise, and it's a mindfulness exercise as the eyes go up to the ceiling. If you're very stiff and that's not working quite so well for you, then you can always bend your elbows so that the circle is smaller. And then when you're ready, reverse your circle so that your arm is going backwards. I find on my circle that it's the extremities where I tend to, my eyes miss a little bit. We're going very slowly because when you're moving something like the shoulder joint, but also your neck, you want to gauge the movement very carefully to make sure that it's completely okay for you, and then come to the centre. Hands on the waist, soften the front left knee, drop the weight centrally. So this is a version of Warrior One. And then cactus arms, the next version. And then optionally, hands up, your full Warrior One. Now, how far you bring the hands together is up to you. And you've also got the option that I won't take today of looking upwards. That will test your balance slightly. But all options. And then bring your head to the centre and lower your arms. Step the left foot back and lift and roll the shoulders. And then stepping the right foot forward, left foot out to 45 degrees, right foot can go towards the edge of the mat. It depends on your balance. With Warrior One, of course, you're twisting around to the side, so there are some versions in a flow where you'll have people lifting their back heel, and that's perfectly acceptable as well. And then taking the fist with your left hand and circling the arm forward. Again, we're focusing on the shoulders, the neck, the eyes, that are a muscle in the same way that everything else is. And as I said, it becomes a mindfulness exercise. And then when you're ready, think about reversing your circles. Backwards. There's one tradition of yoga that the traditions are different, that will always finish with rolling the shoulders backwards, so that when you finish, your pose is set and your shoulders in the right position. But that is just one tradition of yoga, they're all different. And then just one more circle. And then just release and relax and step your right foot forward. So a further slight twist, body twist, is step your right foot over your left, raise the arms. You can either hold your thumbs or hold in the Venus lock with thumb over thumb and fingers up, and then just go to one side. It's a natural movement that you make. One side will feel fantastic, and the other side, when you go over, just feels not so fantastic. You're slightly chin to chest, so you're extending the back of the neck. If you're wondering where the neck comes into it, stretching up. And then lowering the hands when you're ready. Unraveling your feet. And then, of course, we're going to go to the other side. And you step your left over your right. Raise the arms. And again, go to how you want to. Your chin goes to your chest, so you're extending the back of the neck. Come to the centre and then go to the other side. As I said, you'll favour one side over the other. Come to the centre and lower your hands. Unravel your feet. Lift and roll shoulders. I'm not letting you off your neck and shoulders. So it's eagle arms, but your balance is, we're not going to do balance as well. So cross, doesn't matter, one arm over the other, hands together. So the teaching point here, which is more difficult to do, is elbows away from you and elbows slightly up, so that you're looking through the diamond, the sort of diamond that you're making. And this will stretch out your upper back to make sure that you're not stressing on your neck. If you're finding that you're putting any tension in your neck, then just lower everything, lower the arms. And take an in and an out breath. So this should be feeling that when you do all your picking, shoulder, really great picking. And then, of course, you're releasing and unraveling the arms. Just shake the hands out. If you can remember which way you went, because I've now forgotten, but go the other side. And again, if you want to be really key about this, elbows slightly out and away from you, and elbows slightly up, so that you're looking through your diamond. But the back of the neck is long. And then releasing. Shake your hands out. And then imagine either it's your visualization, either your nose or your chin is a pencil, and you're making a figure of 8. Choices. It can be vertical or horizontal. I would go for horizontal with your nose. So you're going to go naturally one way, circling, going through the circle and making. So I'm making a horizontal figure of 8. It's the forever sign, and the benefit of doing this is that you don't overstretch your neck. So you can repeat this figure of 8 on the hips. It's all over the body, but with the neck and the head, it's just, again, a very safe neck movement. You're also crossing over your brain, because a slight side to side connects into the hemispheres, the brain hemispheres, from an Eastern point of view. And if you're interested in the glands, as it's looking at, you're looking at the thyroid and the parathyroid. The thyroid gland can go particularly out of whack when we get to a certain age, often connected with exhausted adrenals. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Charlotte, as we change direction. Don't worry if you go wrong. On the exhausted adrenals and stress and burnout and glands. So just, again, I've gone wrong, I've reverted back to my original, so I'm obviously a bit unbalanced somewhere. Mentally, the unhinge. And then just very gently. Come to the centre and just notice where you're at. Might feel tingly, might feel normal. And while we're here, I'm just going to go through Tadasana. So just lifting the toes and releasing the toes back down to the ground. And then just slightly rocking forwards and backwards. Maybe slightly from side to side. And just noticing where your centre of balance is. If you just gently press your hips, that has the effect of lengthening you, lifting you up, releasing the hands. Having lifted up, you might feel those lengthening in the core, and you are lifting at the chest, so that's anti-depression. And the basis of all the warrior poses, where you're lengthening, extending here. Lifting and rolling the shoulders back and down away from the ears. And the chin should be parallel now with the ground. And if you want to test your neck here, just slightly turn the head from one side to the other and bring it back to the centre. And you can also feel that there's a piece of string or a golden thread, silver thread, through the whole body, almost like a puppet being held. So all the bones stack one upon the other. And then just very gently lift and roll the shoulders. Hands together at the heart centre. And then we're going to come down to the ground. Legs out in front of us before we come to line, so I haven't forgotten your back suit. I don't actually know anybody over a certain age who doesn't have the odd twinge.
That's comforting.
To know. And the certain things can make it worse, so that's the very difficult balance in yoga, that you need to move, and if you move too much, it can cause a kind of burnout or a stress in the body. Just checking in with you all on heat. Are you too hot? Do you want the windows open? Your wall now.
Would you mind? Yes.
Yeah, what would you like? A door, a window?
Anyone doesn't bother anyone.
Whatever you like.
I'm just
Perfect.
What
sort?
A bit of breeze. Just a bit of breeze.
Well, a window breeze or a door breeze? Windows.
Just
Fine.
fine,
Just
just
open.
window.
Are you on that window? Because I could do the door and then we'll get a breeze or window.
Whatever. 3 breeze with each, a little bit of each.
It's a warm day.
I'm just putting too much. I should have just put a tissue.
Okay. It's just, as I said, it's difficult to get it right at this.
It's so changeable.
It's very
warm
warm today.
It's so
It's
warm.
20, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was 11 yesterday.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yes, that's quite a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
So just flesh out from under the bottom, legs out in front of you. While we're doing this, and before we lie down, I just wanted to focus, we're looking at different energies, just toes up to the ceiling and then toes away. I've done this before. It's very much connected to the kind of yoga that we're doing, which is a form of, it's Buddha yoga, but it's like Tibetan heart yoga, just a style. It's slightly different. And then just circle the ankles in one direction. And it's looking at the 6 flavours of emptiness that always seems to provoke a lot of discussion. One thing is that the first thing is that times change. They certainly do. The next thing is that you can't change the present in the present, which I kind of get. Then circle the ankles in the other direction. The third thing is that it's karma, not randomness. So when we think things happen randomly, it might, depending on the belief system, might not be random. Maybe it was always meant to be. That's a massive discussion that might or might not apply. And then just bounce the legs. Things don't have the qualities that we project onto them. And that I've really struggled to get my head around. So my yoga teacher and therapist at the time, I'm very much in contact with her, says if you imagine a pencil, to you and I, to you and me, a pencil is what we write with, it's a writing instrument. To a dog, it's something to chew on. So we project the qualities of something onto a pencil that the dog hasn't got any such perception and just rub. And then everything is relationship, 50-50. And I often think, if I say something and someone misinterprets it, it's often that they're a bit tetchy with me, or I might misunderstand them. It's my intent. If I'm very kindly disposed towards someone, I'm going to let everything go because you just forgive them automatically. So it's about relationship, but there will be another complicated layer to that as well. And then things are empty of being the way we name and label them. So again, my teacher said to me, well, when your neighbour winds you up because they've done something heinous, you might say, oh, they're absolutely terrible. But actually, they're the same person as they've always been. It's just that there's been something that's happened, or equally that someone has done something positive. So just lift and roll the shoulders. Cross the right leg over the left. Left hand up. Left hand to the outside of the right thigh, right hand behind. Extend your heels if you need to, lengthen the body and gently turn. The head is the last thing to turn, by the way. Breathing in, lengthening, breathing out, turning. So we're working on a samana energy, which is at the navel area, connecting to digestion and the enzymes, but it's very much part of our inner power and how we transform what happens to us, our food in life, what goes on in life, into our reality. So it's very much about the transformational energy. We are what we eat, we are what we digest, in fact. Come back to the centre. That's taken me a long time to get my head around. It's not what we eat, it's what we digest, which is another massive subject. Left ankle over right. Right hand up, tummy in. Right hand to left thigh, left hand somehow behind, either on the floor if you've got long hands or on fingertips and turn. I always think this is a wonderful exercise for when we get older, when we're driving. We have to turn the heads around and then come back to the centre, unravel the legs, and just very gently slide the hands down to about halfway to the shins. It's a forward bend. You can compensate forward bends for the forward bend after a rotation, after lots of exercises, or just immediately after the one. But it's just nice to rebalance the back. And then very gently come up to sitting And then we're going to come to the back now, Sue. So come to lie on the floor, and we'll do a breathwork exercise at a time. Feet hip width apart, knees bent. For neck and shoulders, the back of the neck needs to be long, so as the chin, in other words, is not up to the ceiling, it's slightly towards the chin or parallel. You can always test your neck by just slightly rolling the head from side to side. Now you're releasing the neck here because the head is being held by the floor. Your shoulders are away from your ears, and for here your hands can be either palms down or resting on the abdomen with the elbows out a little bit. And your feet can even be slightly wider than hip width apart. So we're coming into a classic, what they call somatic movement. When you do a somatic movement, you start to remove the mind from the process of the movement, and therefore it's calming for the nervous system. So just start to sway the knees from side to side. If your feet are wider than hip width apart, your knee will drop more to the centre. Your hip will alternately lift from the floor, so as my knees go to the left, my right hip lifts off the floor. You're also massaging across the top of the bottom, and as we established, that bit where you might put a tennis ball right in the bottom is the GB30, which is the liver, gallbladder, meridian. And as we've also said, if anybody hasn't got any of these organs or no lymph nodes or whatever, then the energetic pathways are still there.
I've had my thyroid removed.
Ah,
Do I have any energetic pathways?
you do. They are there. So for the thyroid, while we're doing this, there are various colours associated with energetic energy parts, and there are different systems to be even more confusing. So just while we're going from side to side, you have the option now of involving your head. So classically, I would move my head away from the direction of the knees. If you find that your head's moved with it, that's fine. So coming back to the thyroid, in one energy system, it's using the colours of the rainbow, and around the thyroid area, it is blue, which is the colour. So therefore, in one aspect, you're often asked where blue, or you might have an aversion to blue, or you might love blue and want to wear it more. It can go either way. However, it's complex because in Ayurveda, there are different colours associated with the different energy centres in the body. So absolutely, yes, you do. The thyroid I've got to be very careful here, the thyroid in Eastern medicine, both Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, has an aspect of connecting in energetically to the adrenal glands. And so people who've been very stressed, long-term chronic stress, can exhaust the adrenal glands, and that in people with a certain predisposition can have an aspect where the thyroid can go slightly out of balance. Even if the thyroid's not there, the energetic pathways are there. So it's also key with people on the thyroid to reduce stress and the overactive adrenals from an Eastern perspective, if that makes sense, does it? So then from just turning the knees from side to side and the head from side to side, just come to the centre. And for both of you with neck and shoulder issues, have your arms out alongside you, palms up now, so like an A. You can have it into a T, and your knees can touch if you want to rest them in constructive rest. So one shoulder at a time. If you're right-handed, we'll start with the left hand. The left palm is turned up, and then turn the left palm down and feel the rotation in the shoulder socket as you turn your left palm up they're supported by the ground, and then the left palm down. So you are rotating the arms and the shoulder socket, but it's very much supported by the ground. So therefore you're likely to move more with the movement than if you were just holding your arms upwards. And then relax and release your left hand, however you want to, and transfer to the right side. Turn the right palm up, but not only up, as if you're going to turn the palm and the right thumb touches the ground, you're lifting your right other side of the arm up, and then turn the right palm totally down so that the right palm touches the ground. And you'll feel the rotation in the arm. So if there's any stiffness, this is quite a good way of, it is in me, I've got a slight stiffness of revealing this, but also very safely moving it. And then just come back. Hands can rest once more on the abdomen, or they can be palms down alongside you. And again, in somatic movements, just do a couple of pelvic tilts, flattening the back to the ground, as if you're going to lift your bottom, and releasing. If you imagine again your tailbone like a pencil, bring the tailbone towards the ground so that there's a little gap under your spine towards an imaginary 12 o'clock. And then release and flatten the back so that you're lifting your tailbone almost to 6 o'clock. The bottom almost lifts off the ground. And release back to neutral. You can move both knees as the knees drift towards your 3 o'clock. Your hip might lift. Come back to the centre, and you'll feel a heaviness in your hips beginning to develop. And just very gently let both knees travel to the 9 o'clock to the left, as if your right hip lifts. And then just come back to the centre. Hug one knee into the chest and then the other knee. So we're now coming back to the Apana energy, which is very helpful for lower backs. And keeping the knees together, one hand on each knee, circle the knees in the same direction around almost an imaginary 50 pence piece, and you're really going down to the base of the spine, around the bottom part where all the lower back issues can often manifest. And then gently circle both knees in the other direction. The more you hug the knees into the chest, the higher up along the spine towards the L4, L5 will go, and the more you let the knees drift away from you, the more that will go. But again, it's your choice. You can rotate a little bit, or you can rotate a lot. And then just placing the right foot on the floor. In yoga, you'll look generally at the best side first. Hug the left knee into the chest, and then circle the left knee a couple of times in one direction. And then circle the knees a couple of times in the other direction. And then dropping the hands underneath the left thigh, extend the left leg to the ceiling, but you can keep optionally a bend in the left knee, and extend the left heel. So you're stretching out along the back of the left leg, just put left toes up to the ceiling and extend the left heel. And then circle the ankles. So all the way along the back of the leg can release out stiffness in the lower back. As muscles can contract, circle your left ankle in the other direction. Soften and bend the left knee into the chest once more, and still holding the left knee, open the left knee to the left, and place your left ankle on top of your right thigh, so it becomes a figure of 4, and your hands can rest either on your abdomen or they can rest palms down on the ground. And just gently sway both knees from side to side. Checking on your neck. Is your neck tense and chin up to the ceiling? Just a check that the neck needs to be relaxed and released. And just let the knees sway from side to side. So the figure of 4, which is a softer version of pigeon pose, opens a little muscle called the piriformis, which is, I believe, Charlotte, between on the outer side of the hip, connecting the hips
Yeah,
with the
it's
leg.
just, exactly, it's just sort of right on the outside, just here. Just there on the
Okay.
outside of your.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah,
Just seeing it on the diagram, I'm just like,
yeah, difficult to describe.
scribe. It's very implicated in getting tight and lower back issues. And then hugging the knee into the chest, the left knee into the chest, and supporting the left leg as you place the left foot on the floor. Just slightly rock both knees from side to side, coming back to that somatic movement again, which is very much part of the de-stressing, calming the nervous system as you avoid the mind. And then hugging the right knee into the chest. As I think Sue and Charlotte know, I'm going to be doing some training. Just circle the right knee in one direction on long COVID and ME in stress and burnout, which will be, again, an interested to me. I've done quite a lot of somatic training as well. And then just circle the knee in the other direction. So you're just, again, this is for the hip and the lower back. Hugging the knee into the chest works on the lower apana energy, which is the foundational energy of all the five energies. Probably the most important in many ways, although they all have equal weight. And then just extend the right leg up to the ceiling. You can keep a bend in the right knee and extend the right heel. Feel that stretch at the back of the leg and release the right toes up to the ceiling. And again, you might like to extend the right heel and then release. And then circling the right ankle a few times in one direction. And then circling the ankle a few times in the other direction. And then hugging the right knee into the chest again. Enjoy the apana release on the right side. And then opening the right knee to the right, placing the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Hands can either be resting on the floor, palms down, or on the abdomen, and just very gently let the knees sway from side to side. Again, you can sway a little bit, or you can sway a lot. The figure of four, upside down figure of four. Now there are variations to engage the core, but we're just keeping it very low at the moment. And then hugging the right knee into the chest. And placing the feet on the floor once more. And as you, hands palms down, or hands along on your abdomen, as you let the knees sway from side to side, have a sense that your feet are initiating the movement of the swaying of the knees. So that will involve you slightly pressing your feet into the ground to make that side to side movement. And now as you carry on with the sway, leave the thought of the feet and have the movement initiate from the knees, so that your knees are moving from side to side. And then just release the knees and have a sense that your hips are moving. So you will engage your hips and move around a little bit more to move the knees from side to side. It will be slightly more exaggerated maybe. And of course I should have asked you beforehand which you normally do when you don't think about it properly, when you sway your knees from side to side. And then hugging one knee into the chest and then the other once more. Both knees, both soles of the feet to the ceiling in a V, palms together through the V, and you'll feel your abdominal muscles engage. Hug the knees into the chest again, and the soles of the feet to the floor, palms down this time. Flatten the lower back to the ground, lift your bottom, off the ground, a little bit or a lot. Raise your arms up above you, bent at the elbows, up behind you. The chin should naturally go towards the chest, engaging the vagus nerve. Breathe out, lower the bottom to the ground. The hands should follow the movement, and when your bottom and back are totally on the ground, knees go onto the hands go onto the knees come to the chest, soles of the feet to the ceiling. In a slight V, your knees can be bent, palms of the hands together. Feel that engagement of the core, and then hugging the knees into the chest. And then feet back down alongside you. You might feel the energy start to move along the spine in this movement. Press the feet into the ground. Lift up in a semi-bridge. Bend elbows, raising above your head. Chin comes into the chest, stretching out the back of the neck. Lower your bottom back down to the ground and lower your hands. When the bottom and the back are totally connected to the ground, hug the knees into the chest, and then the soles of the feet go loosely to the ceiling as the palms of the hands come through the V, and then very gently hug the knees into the chest. Keep your hands on the knees, hug them into the chest. Hands are still on the knees as the knees go away from you to arm's length. Hug the knees into the chest as you breathe out, and knees go away from you as you still hold the knees. Do that a few times in your own breath pattern. So this is very helpful for the lower back, but it also strangely allows energy to travel. You can feel it traveling along your spine right up through the neck to the head. So it should feel really helpful. It's working ostensibly on the apana energy, which is the lower energy from the lower abdominal area right way down through the legs, but it does work on all energies. And it's something they use in the Krishnamacharya tradition of yoga and Chennai in southern India as part of their recovery and rehabilitation program. Interestingly enough, Sue, for lower backs, comes into the backs, but it's used for other aspects as well. And then very gently, just enjoy hugging the knees into the chest. And then just slide the hands down, hold the ankles above the ankles. For a moment, you're stretching out your groin, which again is the lower back. It's the lower lymphatic system. But I'm not going to keep you here too long. It's quite a stretch. Hug the knees back into the chest and supporting the legs if you need to bring the feet back down to the ground. Once more, just very gently sway the knees from side to side. Bring the knees to the centre, then come back to the neck focus again as you very gently turn the head from side to side a couple of times. Here the weight of the head is being held by the ground, and so your neck muscles can begin to release. And then come to very, very gently. We're going to come taking our own time to come to a seated position. Rolling to the side, so yogically you would roll to the right if that's available to you because it's away from the heart. So it's more restful, coming up to a seated position. And I'm going to do a modified Tibetan breath. So come to, if you don't want to sit with your knees bent, that's fine, come to however. Hands just resting on the knees. Breathe in through both nostrils and raise the left hand. Turn the left palm out away from you and your left third finger generally will block your left nostril. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in through the right nostril and breathe out through both nostrils as you lower the left arm. Breathe in through both nostrils, raise the right arm and turn the palm outwards, blocking the right nostril. Breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left. And breathing out through both nostrils, lowering the right arm. Breathe in through both nostrils, sit up, breathe out. Just nod forward, lengthening along the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe in, sitting up. And breathe out, relaxing the shoulders. Breathe in through both nostrils, turning the left palm outwards, blocking the left nostril. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in through the right. Breathe out through both nostrils, lowering the left arm. Breathe in through both nostrils, raising the right arm, turning out to the right. Breathe out through the left nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril. Breathe out through both nostrils, lowering the right arm. Breathe in through both nostrils, sitting up. And as you breathe out, lengthen from the tailbone to the top of the spine as you nod forward. Breathe in and sit up. Breathe out, relax. And last round, breathe in through both nostrils, raising the left arm. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in through the right. And breathe out through both nostrils, lowering the left arm. Breathe in through both nostrils, raising the right arm. Breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left. Breathe out through both nostrils, lowering the right arm. Breathe in through both nostrils, sitting up. And breathing out, tummy in, lengthening chin to chest, activating the vagus nerve, calming, breathing in, sitting up. Just relax, and as you breathe now, imagine breathing in, putting anything you don't want or that doesn't serve you into your out-breath, and the out-breath leaves where you imagine it to leave, going towards the edge of the body. And when you next breathe in, breathing in, putting anything that you don't want, any emotion or any niggle, pain, into the out-breath, and this time the out-breath goes to the edge of the world. And then again, finally, as we breathe in, the body and mind is being purified each time. The out-breath this time goes to the edge of the universe. And bring the hands to the heart center. Breathing in, connecting to the Tibetan heart as you open the hands outwards. Breathing out, chin to chest. And in your own time, just a couple more times. Hands out, connecting to the element of air. Sense of touch, hands to heart, chin to chest, neck as long. And last time, just open your hands, breathing out, chin to chest. Take a bow for yourself. Have a lovely day.